How can you tell if you should be doing business with someone, whether it's you're an investor considering investing with a company and you're assessing the CEO, or if you're just choosing to do business with anyone? Like, what should be your criteria? Hi, my name is Gary Mishers. I'm the managing partner and chief investment officer of Silvering Value Partners. I also teach the value investing seminar at the FW Olin Graduate School of Business. So a lot of times, it's hard to tell, who has integrity and what does integrity really mean. And I think that one way to think about integrity is looking at what people do and not what people say, because obviously even the people who don't have integrity might want to convince you that they do, and how do you know they're lying on that? So you look at people's actions, and specifically, I think what you do is you look at when they have power to do something, when they have a choice A and a choice B, and choice A is clearly better for them, financially, but choice B is the right thing to do, or it's more fair, or it's how they would want to be treated if they were on the other side of that transaction. They choose choice B. So that act of choosing something that's less advantageous to them, but that's more the right way to do it, maybe even long term favors them, but certainly short term is comes at a cost. That's a sign of someone who I think is someone you should consider doing business with. That's not to say that that's the only thing, but I think as far as assessing their integrity, it certainly goes a long way. And I'll give you an example from my own business. So when I was starting my own firm a few years ago, there were many, many ways to structure the fees. And the common, quote unquote, conventional wisdom in the hedge fund industry is to have pretty egregious fees. The fees are inherently just extremely unfair to your investors. Now, they might end up generating a good outcome if the manager produces amazing returns, but these are fees that a priori not set up to kind of follow the rule of would you want that to be on the other side of that transaction. And what I mean by that is, the industry, basically does a few things. First of all, most people set up their fees so they can get really wealthy for just showing up if they gather enough assets. That's number one. Number two is the industry, quote unquote, best practices or standard practices allow the manager to hide a whole bunch of other fees and charge them to the fund. So these are two examples. They're not the most important thing. I think that obviously, you need to be a good investor and be able to invest well. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what the fee structure is. But I think that what I've learned is, as I've gotten to talk to a lot of other managers, some who've launched a long time ago, some who come to me for advice on what they should do, how they should structure their firm, their fund, and so forth, you can very quickly tell who just wants to make the most money possible, and that's their main and mostly sole motivation, versus who is doing it for, maybe they like money, that's fine. No one's asking this to be a charity, but they also care about how they do business, and they also want to have other objectives in business and in life other than just making the most money at the expense of their customers. And so you can see, if someone is setting up the usual fee structure, which is something like that, 2% of all assets plus 20% of profits, that's just an inherent and fair structure. And the reason is that manager can go and they can invest that money in an index fund and do very well for themselves. Obviously, that's not what they're going to do, but if they generate very average performance, they are able to build a ton of wealth. On the other side, there are ways to structure things that the only way that the manager is going to build a meaningful net worth is if they do meaningfully better than the market over the long term. Now, people don't want to do that. I did that, and I did it for my own reasons. And people were asking me, who is making you do this? My lawyers asked me, is there some client that's really negotiating really hard to get these below market terms out of you? And I said, no, look, I want to be able to go to my friends, my family, whoever, look them in the eye and say, look, if I were on the other side of the table, I think I'm giving you a fair proposition, and you will get, if I'm good, plenty of value. And if I'm not good, I'm not going to be able to make a ton of money off of you for just showing up. And I think that's inherently fair, and it's the right way to structure things. And yet very few people do it. When I give my spiel to some of the people who are starting their own businesses, they kind of say, yeah, that sounds good. And then you watch what they do, and they hide behind industry standards. So that's an example from my own experience, but that applies to other businesses as well. Look for people who don't hide behind, what's acceptable and to try to extract the most money for themselves, but instead do things in the way that they would want to have done to them if they were on the other side of the table. I hope this video was helpful to you, so please hit like if it was, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.